Good morning, everybody. Victor here, and I got Brookie on the boat with me, and she is snapping her donut for the sunrise.
Look how good it is.
There's this local donut shop, Dandy Donuts by our house, and we brought some donuts on the boat this morning. Got up super early, tried to catch gogs and blue runners, and the goggle eye did not go as planned. We only got one, but we got a decent amount of blue runners. I'll show you guys in a sec. They're all back there. We got a good amount of blue runners. We are currently trolling like the beach area with really big sabikis. Beautiful sunrise in the background. Beautiful fiance eating her donut. And so yeah, today's plan, we're gonna try to drop on some wrecks, do some drifting, hopefully finally get that sailfish. So yeah, hopefully we'll be on some fish soon here. All right guys, seems like we got some blue runners on the sabiki. One person holds the sabiki rod, one person de-hooks. It's like earlier, this has 8 hooks on, and that's why you fish these really long rods, because you have really big sabikis. And if you get a full stringer, it's definitely a 2-person job. Look, we got a sail on, we got a sail on. Woohoo! I was driving the boat, we were just slow trolling, and I was like, Brooke, there's a sail, there's a sail. I saw him cruising the wave. When you get this swell like this, they'll just ride the waves to save energy. And we had 2 blue runners out. I stopped the boat and I reeled in the blue runner real close, and sure enough, the sail was right on it. These are really big, powerful pelagic fish, huge tails. You guys are gonna see it when we bring it in the boat. Oh, he might be jumping again. Never in my life have I wanted to catch a sailfish so bad. Ever since I put the fact that I wanted to do a sailfish catch and cook into the universe, it's like they've just eluded us, or every single one's been undersized. But this one seems to be big. So we're gonna just chase this sailfish down a little bit. He's going for quite the run. I think it's gonna be a bigger one. Sometimes every sailfish has its own personality. Sometimes you can get them from a standstill boat. Other times they just want to dump hundreds of yards of line. You know, when we were drifting earlier, there was 2 boats right next to us, both flying kites, and that's what most people do out here to catch sailfish. You guys have seen us do it too. And one boat hooked up, caught theirs, another boat hooked up, caught theirs, and I'm like, what the heck are we doing wrong? Sometimes it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time.
So today we have a west wind, and it's always really hard to tell how rough it is on the camera, but it's not rough, it's really, really swelly. These swells are huge, like they're probably like 9-foot swells, but it doesn't feel rough because they're just so giant and you're just slowly rolling over them. But it's one of those days where you can see a boat and a swell comes and then it disappears. That's when you know that it's pretty big.
Despite what the YouTube screen looks like, it's big out here. So when I saw the sailfish, I literally saw him with his sail all lit up, and they just ride the waves. Especially when you get little cold fronts like this, they come from the north to the south, and they use those swells to save energy and just to migrate. I'll tell you what, this is probably one of the most stubborn sails I ever fought. See those head shakes? Watch that rod tip. That's him shaking his big head with his bill like this.
Here he comes.
I'm almost 100% sure this sailfish is hooked in the tail. I can feel every single tail beat, and that's because my main connection to him is on his tail. So it's gonna get a little interesting. That's why I'm not able to turn his head at all, because I can't pull that way. I'm pulling by his tail. He's sounding.
Which is weird. So when I fished that Costa Rican tournament last February with Jennifer and Glenn, a couple of our sailfish like went down like this one's doing, and instead of just trying to fight it straight up and down, which takes a really long time, they would drive away from the fish, which would make your line like more elevated, and then drive back at the fish, and that would pull it up, and they would have to do that a couple times to finally get the fish to come up. And that's what I'm doing. So you always have to pay attention when you guys go fishing with other people so that you learn new tricks. So drove away from them for a while, and now Victor's gaining line and he's coming back up.
I just reeled the sailfish up from like 100 feet of water down. There he is, hooked in the tail. Just what we thought. That's a big one.
It is a big one.
That's a big one. That's not the right one to hook in the tail, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do. Brooke's gonna grab the rod and the camera, and I'll try to grab him by the bill.
Get him up sideways on the boat.
Got him.
That's a big boy.
That is a big one. That's an eater. Woo! That's a freaking full-grown one.
That's a giant.
This was a nightmare to reel in. Look at this. That hook was not coming out. He was hooked in the tail. These fish are one of the fastest fish in the ocean. I think they
good.
might be the fastest fish, so they hit it so fast sometimes that they actually miss the bait. Yeah, he was not coming unglued. Look at that. It's hard. These mustad hooks are sharp as hell. There we go.
I'll tell you what, he wouldn't have lived.
No, this is what I wanted to say. We've let 99% of our sailfish go, with this being the exception. We've caught dozens of sailfish and always let them go. This is the only one we really wanted to try for catch and cook. So keep that in mind for your guys' comments. So like going back on that, you know, this fish, you guys see how brown and discolored he is? He most likely wouldn't have lived if we had let him go. And there's nothing you can do. You hook him in the tail, you're literally dragging him in backwards. You can't drag a pelagic fish in backwards. Water needs to go past their gills, so this one would have come up dead anyway. You guys see I brought him in the boat and he's lifeless.
You guys see us bring fish in the boat all the time, flopping like crazy. This thing hasn't moved since he's brought him in the boat. And usually these fish are absolutely beautiful. This guy's all brown because he's just not doing too good.
They have to be 63 inches to keep. This guy is 69 inches exactly, so 6 inches above the legal limit. Lower jaw, end of the lower jaw to the middle of the tail. So 69 inches right there, the lower jaw. Freeze frame to 5 seconds ago at what the sailfish looked like. When you take fish, pelagic fish, and you bring them in the boat, they tend to lose their color. When you squirt them off, look at how much the sailfish color has come back. You can actually see his bands, his sail, and the spots, and the blues and the purples. If you ever want good pics, always squirt your fish off before you're going to take them, and it brings them back to life. With salt water, of course. Well guys, after like 7 failed trips to try to make this video happen, it finally happened. And we're going home with the sailfish, so see you guys at the fillet table.
When Victor was trying to take a picture with it, holding it, I was like, is it heavy? It's so heavy, not just holding the tail.
So as we're running in, I saw something really big just making a bunch of splashes, and it's these guys right here. Some dolphins. Look at all of them. A lot of times we find them offshore while dolphin fishing, and we've gotten them to ride along with the boat for like 45 minutes to an hour before. But you gotta, I think they gotta be, they gotta be in the right mood. They'll literally swim underneath your boat for 45 minutes an hour. We've seen huge schools offshore. Oh, they're doing it, Brooke. They're doing it. Since this guy is so big, he could barely fit in the cooler, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut off his head, remove the guts, cut a little bit of the tail off to really ice that fish down, get his core temperature down, because I couldn't ice him properly in order to fillet him. So I started over here, around the head, around the pec fin, going down here, through the throat, and we just want to remove this. And these guys are extremely bloody, just like all big pelagic fish are. I'm gonna come around on this side too and just follow any soft part of the head meat that I can. You hear that? It's like going to the chiropractor. You know, I always like inspecting a fish's anatomy, and everything about sailfish is about speed, maneuverability, and keeping streamlined. You see these fins right here? If he needs to, he can tuck these in. He's got a little groove right here along the bottom portion of them. Same thing with that big sail. They'll tuck that big sail inside of them as well.
I never knew that did that.
So I want to remove all of these guts and organs just because I don't want, since it's going to be quite a process to fillet this thing, no need to ruin the meat or just get it cross-contaminated with all this stuff. Look at this, huge organs. All right, so we got the sailfish core, if you want to call it that, in the cooler, heads off, good chunk of the tails off. Now, one of our favorite parts of these videos is to check its stomach. And I think it's gonna be full. Needlefish. Or not? Isn't it? What is that? Wow, that is really digested. You guys comment below what you think it is. Is it a flying fish? A huge flying fish? The only reason I was saying needlefish is because I saw the really long tail. I don't know what that is. It's big, look, its skeleton went on that long. This looks like it had some big bones.
Those might be wings.
Wings. Comment below, guys, what you think it is.
I kind of thinking that it's a flying fish.
So sailfish don't really have teeth, but their mouth and their bill is super abrasive. It's like sandpaper. It's like 100 grit sandpaper. And they have to swallow things whole. So when they eat your bait, they swim really fast and try to shove it down their throat. And I think that's one of the reasons he was hooked in the tail, because they're so fast that a lot of times they'll get foul hooked. But honestly, for as big of a fish it is, they don't have that big of a mouth. But they can fit some huge things in there. And they use this bill to stun their baits, pierce them. They go up to bait schools like sardine schools, flying fish. They'll slash and injure them. It's a really cool way. They were designed in nature to feed. It's kind of cool to see how much the fish has changed during the process. It goes from being brown to gray, silver. So I'm going to be using an 8-inch Dexter Sport Fishing curved knife. I'll have it linked below. And I'm going to go from the head all the way to the tail, and we're just going to outline this sailfish. This is the longest knife stride I've ever made on a fish, I'll tell you that. Now we're gonna get onto the spine of the sail. Okay, so you just gotta be careful. I actually got on the other side of the spine right there, because it's just such a big fish, but I'm gonna get on the other side of the backbone here. I'm just running my knife all the way through the other side of the backbone. Let's see what we're working with over here. Wow. That is a lot of meat. So they have a really thick backbone. I didn't think they were gonna have that thick of a backbone. Okay, so we got both sides of the sailfish off. Very awkward fish to fillet. I should have done it in sections. If I ever do another one, I'm definitely not gonna do it the entire fillet. It's just too much to work with. Oh my gosh, Brooke, look at this. This is the most catfish I've ever seen in that shallow of water in your canal. Look at them. They're gonna destroy this.
There's one giant one. You see that giant one?
He's huge.
Look at that one.
You ready?
Hold it in the water. Hold it. Get underneath and hold it.
Oh my gosh, look at all that.
I got scared.
They're gonna, but watch, they're gonna eat that thing. I'm not even gonna attempt to skin this thing one shot through, because it's just such a massive piece of meat. So let's do a section about this big. It looks like tuna almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's much darker red than I was expecting it to be.
Line up our sailfish with the edge of the fillet table. And I'm definitely not worried about leaving a little bit of meat close to the skin, because I know it's gonna be, oh yeah, see See that stuff? If you try to get really close to the skin and you leave that in your fillet, it's not good. You gotta leave some on the skin. All right, guys. Sailfish, catch, clean, cook, coming at you. We'll see you guys in the kitchen, and very excited to see what this tastes like, how it flakes, everything. We'll see you guys there. Okay, it's sailfish time, guys, but before we move on to the cooking portion of this video, if you guys like my cooking segments, a few weeks ago I said that I was thinking about starting a second channel. Well, I finally am gonna pull the trigger and start that second channel. It's gonna be all about food, seafood, chicken, everything. Anything that has to do with cooking and food, whether it's from the ocean or not. I just wanna have an outlet to kind of share with you guys my passion for cooking and that. So I'm gonna have it linked below. You guys would be doing me a huge favor and giving me an upper edge if you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna have it linked below. Don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but hopefully you guys come along on the adventure, and I wanna thank you for that. So what we're gonna do tonight is, we got 3 things going on. Starting with our sailfish, I have them cut into really big chunks, and we made a yogurt marinade. So this is whole yogurt. I also put in oregano, salt, pepper, celery salt, garlic powder, minced garlic, as well as the juice of half of a lemon and some lemon zest as well. And some olive oil. I mixed it all together, and then our fish has been marinating for about 30 minutes now. That's gonna go straight onto the grill. We just have some asparagus with some olive oil, salt, pepper. Now, I've always wanted to master crispy potatoes, and from what I gather, a good way to do it is to boil them first, kind of rough up the edges, because the more surface area of that rough edge you have, the crispier it's gonna get. I might have went a little overboard with the roughing up, but that's what we got going on. Boiled them, took them out. I got them on 2 baking sheets, salt, pepper, garlic powder, paprika, olive oil, mixed it all together. Those are going in the oven. Fish is going on the grill. Asparagus is going on the stovetop, and that's all there is to it. Let's put our potatoes in the oven at 425 for, should be about 30 minutes. We'll put them on the same rack so they cook evenly. So I got the grill set pretty high. It's at 430 right now, because like these pellet grills, they lose a lot of their heat when you open them up, and I want to create some kind of sear marks, and these are really thick pieces of fish. And that's one reason I wanted to do the yogurt marinade for the sailfish. Everybody smokes a sailfish. Everyone responded to the Instagram story or texted me saying, dude, you gotta make smoked sailfish dip, which we're gonna do on the cooking channel if you guys subscribe to it. But I wanna actually taste the fish. When you smoke fish, pretty much everything tastes the same when you smoke it. So we wanna taste the actual fish itself. So we're gonna go with our yogurt marinated sailfish directly onto the grill grates. And I'm excited because I've never yogurt marinated anything. I know it's really popular to do with chicken, and I figure why not do it with fish, because fish is also a really lean protein. Let's give our sailfish a flip. So this is what the sailfish looks like out of the grill. Didn't really get the sear marks that I wanted, but very thick pieces of fish. If I were to do this again, I probably would have cut them in half lengthwise because they just are so thick. Crispy potatoes. A little piece of sailfish, some crispy potatoes, and then a good helping of asparagus. All right, guys, it's ready.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First time eating sailfish, and I'd have to say it's different than any fish I've ever eaten, but I like it. It's Victor was trying to say that he overcooked it and it was dry, but I think that could be the way it is. I think it's delicious this way. I really like it.
I'll say something. The yogurt marinade sauce that Victor made is absolutely amazing. I'm not someone who likes super thick pieces of fish, and this one was super thick, but it still was really, really good. I didn't really know what to expect with sailfish. I've never had it before, but I think it's very delicious. And these potatoes might be the best potatoes I've ever had. They're really good. But I like the sailfish. I think it's good. I'm excited to try it a bunch of different ways. And I don't know, it's good. So good job, Mick.
Thanks, babe.
I'll say something.
Sure.
Yeah, swordfish, sailfish. I did that the other day. But the sailfish, this is the first time we ever had it, isn't it?
Yep.
It's really good. Definitely different than most cuts of fish, but I really like it, and that lemon on top is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially you. You love lemon, don't you?
I love it.
Well, when Fisher Call said swordfish, that's kind of what this texture is reminding me of. I didn't know what to expect either, but it does, or like a tuna steak or something like that. But it's really, really good, and I'm enjoying your asparagus and potatoes. Good job.
Thank you.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. All right, guys, this is what the sailfish looks like if you want to see the inside. It's very thick. I guess I'm just being really hard on myself. I've been cooking so much fish so much lately that I think I have it in my head of what I think it's supposed to taste like, because I've cooked so many different species, and it really is unlike anything I've ever cooked, because I've overcooked fish before, but this is almost like it's just a completely different texture than normal fish. Like when I even went to fillet it, it's super firm. Almost like a pork chop. It's nothing like a normal fish. It's got good flavor. I'm happy with the recipe. I just think if I were to do one thing differently, I would have made smaller sections, because it's kind of overwhelming to eat that much fish in one bite. But it's good. It really is good. There's no denying that the fish itself is good, no matter what recipe you do with it. It's just so different than what we're used to. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have ever tried sailfish before, comment below the way you've made it. I honestly think this would be a really killer fish for sashimi or sushi, because it is so thick. I think that in other parts of the world, that's the way they do it. Comment below if you guys have ever eaten it, other recipes you've tried, or what I should try next. And like I said, guys, that cooking channel is going to be in the description box below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in that next video.